Hello everyone, welcome to this month's edition of North Central Outdoors. I'm your host, Nathan Karch. We're going to discuss about 3 different topics today, and I want to start off by just giving you a brief update about our 2018 spring turkey season. It was a productive season, a lot of birds being killed, but I think we can all agree that there's something going on with our bird population. We can't put a finger on it. We actually do not know exactly what it is. There's multiple theories out there of what could have led to this decline. Some speculate it could be disease. Some speculate it could be nest predation. We just don't know. But there is a definite decline, and that is, throughout the entire state. We are currently conducting a 5-year study. It could be more. We don't know yet, but we have limited it to 5 years, at the very least 5 years, with UT Knoxville. And we are on year 2 of that study, so we only have enough data to cover 1 year, and it's just not enough to really tell what is going on. But we expect to see something here in maybe the next couple years. Hopefully it'll point in the right direction, and we can manage for the turkey population that way. There has been talk about us possibly going to different units, very similar to what we do with our deer hunting. Across the state, we kind of divide it up into different units, different portions. That is based on the terrain and population size. So it's kind of like a micromanagement of the population. And I think, personally, I think that would be very, very good. It would only benefit the turkey population. I don't think there would be any negatives to it. And we may see that practice implemented sometime, maybe in even 2019. But there's definitely a decline, and we need to start something and manage for it. Going on into fishing. As the weather has been warming up, finally, we're seeing a little bit less rain than what we were, in the early spring. The conditions are being a lot more favorable for productive fishing. The water temperature is on the rise. The fishing activity is increasing greatly. They are responding to lots of different lures and baits. The bass, the crappie, the sunfish, bluegill, the shellcracker, they're all doing very good. Lots of catfish being caught. People are wearing out the catfish on Old Hickory. But it's really productive, so if you get an opportunity to get out there and do some fishing, I encourage you to do so. If you have not picked up your 2018-2019 fishing license yet, go ahead and pick that up. You can go to any local sporting goods store and pick that up. There are a few different options for you. Of course, you've got your basic small game and fishing combo, which is like $35, and you can kind of build on that depending on what you like to hunt. But if you are just the all-around outdoorsman and you participate in deer hunting, turkey, waterfowl, you use the public lands, the WMAs, the sportsman package is the best for you. It is just an all-inclusive license that covers all of the state supplemental license, and you'll be good to go. The only exception is it doesn't cover your federal duck stamp, so you'll have to get that. Do not forget about our free fishing day. That is coming up June 9th. I know just about every wildlife officer in the state, in their county assignment, they have some type of fishing rodeo for the youth, and get on our website to view that. It's tnwildlife.org, but you can view those opportunities. We'll have multiple events set up throughout the counties, and it's just a day where the youth can come out and fish. We have ponds stocked full of catfish. We have prizes to give away. There will be free food. Don't worry if you don't have a fishing pole, we'll cover that too. There will be bait provided and everything, so just come out and have a good time. And like I said, it's a free fishing day, so that actually pertains to adults as well. So if you don't have a license, take that day, go outdoors and enjoy it. Also pertaining to fishing, a lot of people have been asking about our snagging season. That runs all the way through May 31st, just the very end of May. And for those of you that don't know what snagging is, it's basically people go out usually below a dam, usually when they're generating there's a lot of current. They'll take a really heavy duty rod, whether it be a catfishing pole or a ocean surf rod, basically, where you can get a lot of leverage, and they'll attach a large weighted treble hook on there. That's the three-pronged hook, and they'll cast it out there, and basically they will just jerk and jerk and jerk like a major hook set. And usually what they're doing is they're trying to foul hook a fish in that current that's swimming up there next to the dam to be feeding. Their target species is usually paddlefish, but some bycatch is Asian carp, sometimes even catfish. We will ask that if you catch an Asian carp, please do not return it to the waterway. We ask that you just, leave it on the shore or kill it. It's an extremely invasive species, and we don't want to see it back in the waterways to reproduce. So if you catch one, please don't return it. Now we will go into boating. Boating season is here. Our boating seasons usually run from Memorial Day all the way to Labor Day. So that is the big time that we see the most activity and traffic on our waterways. A few things to keep in mind as we are in boating season. We will be out in full force checking for safety equipment. So the safety equipment that we want you to have will be first and foremost enough life jackets or PFDs for everyone on board. It's got to accommodate that specific number. So if you're out and you're the usual person that may be picking somebody up off the boat ramp or something like that, your buddy calls you and you want to take him and his wife and kids out, you go pick them up at the boat ramp, make sure that you have enough on board to accommodate them as well. You can't go wrong with the generic orange ones that you can pick up from your local sporting goods store. Just buy a couple packs of them. They usually are good for all sizes and all age groups, and they are U.S. Coast Guard approved. So that is one thing you must have. They all must be U.S. Coast Guard approved. No rips or tears, and just in good working condition. And they've got to be able to fit the people on board. So a youth size is not going to be able to suffice for a 200-pound adult. It's just not going to work. Another thing, if your vessel is 16 feet or longer, you must have a Type 4 throwable device. That's just the throw cushion, usually a square. Most people sit on them, but you've got to have that on board. That's just in an emergency situation. If somebody is struggling to stay afloat, you can just toss that out there, and that could possibly save their life. So you have to have one of those on board, and it's just a good practice, even if your vessel's under 16 foot, just to have one on board. If you have an enclosed gas compartment or gas tank, you have to have a Type B fire extinguisher. Most of the ones that we run across are the ones with the push tab or the gauge. It's real easy to read the gauge. If it's in the green, you're good to go. But I would just check these things about every 6 months to make sure they're in good working condition. The push tabs, make sure it has that. It's usually yellow. It's an insert. And a good way to test those is point it in a safe direction and push that tab down. If it pops right back up, it's good to go. If it stays down, then it's bad and you need to replace it. Make sure that you have an up-to-date registration. We are seeing a crazy amount of volume with the applications being submitted to our regional office right now. So you may have to wait a month to 2 months to actually get your physical tag. But as long as you have that receipt, it's usually a yellow copy, saying that you have applied for registration, you're fine, you're good to go. Our records will indicate that you have in fact applied for that, and there will be no issues. Also, if you are going to be running at night, please make sure that your navigation lights are working properly. That's your red, greens, and your stern light. Keep in mind that your stern light, it has to be the highest point of your boat, and it's got to be visible from 360 degrees. So if you have a pontoon or a wakeboard boat that has a bimini top, a lot of times that obstructs the view. Just make sure that it's high enough to be visible from 360 degrees. Also, if you have not completed Boater's Ed before, do that, it pertains to those individuals who were born after January 1st of 1989. It is required by law, and basically you take it one time and you're good to go. It's just like a driver's license, only for the water. So you have to have that to operate any vessel, but it's recognized throughout the United States. So if you ever move states, it will be recognized there and you'll be good to go. And just some tips that I have for individuals in boating. I know I have learned by my mistakes several times, so I just want to offer these tips for you. If you've had your boat sitting in storage all winter long and you're just getting it out for the first time, I would just recommend that you check your boat to make sure your plug is still in there. Make sure that you put your plug in before you put it in the water. I've been the victim of that, and it's not good. So you will never realize how important something so small is until you forget it. But make sure you have your plug in. Make sure that your trailer is in good working condition. Your tires are good to go. You don't want to have a blowout when you're on your way to the boat ramp. Make sure your trailer hitch, your coupler is good to go. You have the safety chains, and you have both of them, not just one. Make sure you have a pin to put in that trailer hitch. That's very, very important as well. It's very similar to plug. Make sure all the lights and everything, your brake lights and everything are working properly, and your winch. If you have a vehicle that is capable of four-wheel drive, I would definitely recommend putting it in four-wheel drive when you're backing it down the boat ramp. It doesn't matter how steep it is. It's always a good practice because you do not want to get caught in a hairy situation where there could be possible algae buildup on that ramp and you're just spinning trying to get it out. I've seen many people go in the water before, so always put it in four-wheel drive. Before you head out, make sure your batteries are charged. You don't want to get out there and your main cranking battery is not full of juice. You can't run your trolling motor or your electronics, so make sure that you have your batteries charged and maybe even have a spare on board. It's always good practice. Make sure your fuel level's topped off. You have an adequate amount of fuel for however long you're planning to be out, and also for however far you're wanting to travel. And a lot of people I see, I recently started doing this, but I recommend it to everyone, is the little ears that you can buy, Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, any sporting goods store really. The ears that you put on your water intake vent there at the bottom of your outboard, it usually only works on outboard motors, but you can go purchase that thing. It's like $5, $10. You can put it on those vents, hook it up directly to your garden hose and turn it on, and you can check to make sure that your motor is running before you even get out to the boat ramp. So the last thing you want to do is spend all that time getting ready, launch your boat in the water, and you're spending 20 minutes trying to get that thing to start, and it never will, and then you have to get it back up on the trailer and head home to try to fix it. So it's just a good way to test it out before you have to go through that whole scenario. And then if you've had a boat in storage or it's just been sitting all winter, maybe add a little bit of fuel additive to it, some fuel stabilizer, whether it be sea foam or Sta-Bil. With today's ethanol in our unleaded gas, most boats have 87 or 89 octane. It can gunk up the carburetors a little bit, so it's just good practice to put that in there, and it should be running smoothly. Just run a whole can through, and maybe add a little bit with every tank, and it will greatly affect the life of your engine. That just about wraps it up for this month's edition of North Central Outdoors. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the month. Get out there and participate in the opportunities that nature has. I hope everybody gets an opportunity to go fishing or participate in our boating activities across the state. We have a lot of just fantastic waterways. So get out there, have some fun, but above all, please be safe. And we'll see you next time.